you go. We already know what's going on out there.
Scottie, my boy. I don't have a
What's your
point.
point, Solo? That
I don't have
Israel's
a point.
gay.
No, dude.
Very
I
happy
don't have a
people.
point.
I guess they're happy.
The
It's
statistics
what.
that I saw said that in Tel Aviv, more people attended the gay pride parade in Tel Aviv than any other gay pride parade anywhere else in the world.
Possible.
And who cares? Big deal. Well, if they do, then good for them.
No,
What's the problem?
Yeah, Solo. We should have separated it more. It's more Muslim communities that are going to throw people off of buildings.
It's not
not
all
Right.
just
Muslims.
not just
not
the
all,
Middle East.
not
Well,
all
no, and it's
Muslims.
not all Muslims. Not all Muslims are extremists. What I'm saying is that's where you're going to find it. It's not going to be as much in Israel as you're going to find it in Muslim countries.
Right.
Well, the Middle East
But
is
we said it vaguely as the Middle East, and that's why Solo I think
Yeah.
asked about
well,
Israel.
here in the West, we hear a lot of fictions, deceits, and lies about the Middle East.
Mm-hmm.
We don't hear what's actually going on. What's
I
actually
have
going
an
on there?
advantage.
What's a lie?
I
What
have
is
an
a lie
advantage in
about it?
that. No, I have an advantage in that because
Okay,
we get
let
news
Muddrabbit-
daily.
Okay, Muddrabbit.
Don't you go all Q on me right now.
No,
We're doing
no,
really
my
good,
husband.
staying above bar.
My husband's Lebanese. He's Maronite. My
Okay.
dad, my stepfather, is Sunni Muslim and
Okay,
keeps
so
the
what's the
prayer 5
lies?
times a day. Huh?
All right. So what's the lies, Solo? What's the lies that we
No,
have
let
in
Muddrabbit knows
America?
better than me. Let her speak.
On what?
What's the lie, though?
Which lie?
Dude, we hear tons of lies about the Middle East, dude.
What?
The people tend to group all Muslims in the same group. You have Shia, you have Sunni. They both have different ways of dressing. You have Druze, which are mostly Christian, and then you have the fanatics. And within the
Oh,
fanatics, you have different factions. And these are people like you would encounter over here that are fundamental believers in the Bible and would hang somebody in their backyard for hurting their dog, you know? So you always have the extremists and the fanatics in any religion that are going to try and adhere as close to their holy book as they can. But then you have people like my dad who are logical, and he's also Sunni, so the women don't have to cover themselves. And he doesn't have those feelings against other people. He's lived in America for a very long time. He used to fly for the royal Saudi family. He used to fly their jets.
yeah, but Muddrabbit,
He's not. They're
Saudi
not all
Arabia is
Muslims.
Sunni.
Huh?
Yeah, no, but Saudi Arabia is Sunni.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
you
and
have
they're
fanatics
Wahhabi.
in the Sunni too. You have fanatics on both sides. You have fanatics
Okay.
everywhere.
Yes, true. But yeah,
You have fanatic Christians, you have fanatic Jews. I mean, you can't lump everybody by the same thing. And this is what the
true.
mainstream media is trying to do, is lump all the Muslims into this fanatic thing.
I think
Yeah, we don't have to.
I can't remember.
I have
the
a
guy's
Christian
name.
Arab and I have a Muslim Arab living under my roof, and I'm a redneck. So tell me how we do get along.
Ooh, I'm gonna play a clip. Hold on a second. I gotcha. I gotcha.
News reports like the craziest incidents and blows it up, and then people, it happens everywhere. Crazy stuff happens everywhere.
Yeah, but we get in trouble when people generalize.
Yeah, okay, yes, that's generalization.
Yeah,
That's
and we have a huge problem right now with a bunch of people suffering both cognitive dissonance and Dunning-Kruger at the same time. And that just blows my mind.
Sam Harris, I think, breaks the Muslim community down in fractions better than anybody else, especially by region. You guys ever listen to Sam Harris?
I've heard of him.
Never heard of him.
The Middle East is
Never heard of
rapidly
him?
changing due to
Yes, it is.
It's not changing.
It is.
What's his name? Ben
How?
Salman.
You'll see.
I hope it is changing.
We just got, what was it, 600 billion? No, I think it was more than that. I think it was billions of dollars we got from Saudi Arabia as an investment in our country.
Investments don't change anything.
Oh, yes, they
Ideas
do.
change.
Oh, yes,
No,
they do.
ideas.
Yes, it does,
Ideas.
dude.
Ideas do.
Well, yeah, and we're investing in these
And
new
when they put
ideas.
money behind an idea, then it really fucking happens.
Yep.
Well, again, when it comes to boxing, Saudi Arabia is the best. Saudi Arabia has been the best for boxing recently, and I love it. So yeah,
Jacob's looking for something.
Oh no, I got it. We're good now. Hold on. All right, so this is Sam Harris. This is him on Bill Maher, and
Oh,
this
yes,
is-
I know who he is.
this is an iconic interview. Ben Affleck is in the background. He's a special guest, and let me run this. I have to jump in a couple times, otherwise they're going to take me off of YouTube. So, or they'll
Yeah.
they'll
8
time me out
seconds.
for a minute.
What is it?
Yeah.
Still 8 seconds?
It's not 8 seconds, but it's basically you have to just talk in between and kind
transformative.
of
It has to be transformative.
But so just like we were talking about with the different sections of the Middle East and
Yes.
different Muslim communities, this is what they're about to break down.
Okay,
And Bill
transformative.
Maher's about to give Sam Harris the floor.
Yeah, well, liberals have really failed on the topic of theocracy. They'll criticize white theocracy. They'll criticize Christians. They'll still get agitated over the abortion clinic bombing that happened in 1984. But when you want to talk about the treatment of women and homosexuals and free thinkers and public intellectuals in the Muslim world, I would argue that liberals have failed us. And the crucial point of confusion, thank you.
Thank God you're here.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Ben is already getting upset. Ben is thinking that Sam thinks he's like the white savior when it comes to explaining to people what the Muslim community is about.
Yes.
I'm not trying to interrupt that much, but I have to every once in a while.
Transformative.
I mean, the crucial point of confusion is that we have been sold this meme of Islamophobia, where every criticism of the doctrine of Islam gets conflated with bigotry toward Muslims as people.
Right.
And that is it's intellectually ridiculous. Even it gets.
So hold on, are
conflated with
you
racism.
the person who understands the officially codified doctrine of Islam? You're the interpreter.
Oh, Jacob, good point for transformative, right? Good point for discussion, right?
Yeah, this is.
We
this
should
is,
be able to discuss this, right?
This is Batman getting ready to go nuts.
Yeah, but as a transformative thing, should we not be able to discuss this? Yes, of course we can discuss Islam as people from the outside. I mean, we're just people debating and just discussing something we're watching, right, my friend?
But the hardest part is getting people to distinguish the different groups. Like if you, like Muddrabbit was saying, it's the same with breaking down the different Christian communities or Jewish communities or anything else. There's so many different Orthodox and everything else that people classify themselves as, where they all practice a little bit different. And the crazy thing is it's kind of all based on the same text. When you look back old enough, it's all based on like ancient Sumerian texts, and then it's all kind of evolved into whatever religion they want it to be today. And it's just silly how off the rails it gets when people try to discuss the specifics of any of them.
Okay, that's a very good part on the general area. So,
So you can say, well, this is. I think
I'm actually well educated on this topic.
I'm asking you. So you're saying if I criticize you're saying that Islamophobia is not a real thing. That if you're critical of something,
Well, it's not a real thing when we do it.
right?
yes.
Well, no,
It really is.
I'm not denying that certain people are bigoted against Muslims as people.
Right.
And that's a problem.
Bigoted.
But
But why are you so
have to-
hostile about this?
It's gross. It's racist.
It's not. But it's so not.
It's so. It's like.
Just discussing the idea is racist.
Yes.
apparently.
Ben Affleck's an idiot.
Exactly.
I'm sorry, Ben Affleck's an idiot.
Well, it's like
you're
he's
the first person to
danger.
ever say that. Wow. The first
He's
person.
he's-
No, I'm just kidding.
No, not at all. He's like
The first of many.
He's so much of
He's a
I have to
paid
be
shill.
this person.
He's a paid shill.
I have to be this person, and I have to reflect this way to other people.
saying those
Yes.
don't make this shifty Jew.
You're not listening
Absolutely
to
not.
what we are saying.
You guys are saying if you want to be liberals, believe in liberal principles like
Right.
freedom of speech, like we are endowed by our forefathers with an inalienable right. All men are created equal.
And we have to be able to criticize bad ideas. And
of course we do.
Islam,
no liberal doesn't want to criticize bad
but
ideas.
Islam
why
is a mother load of bad ideas.
Jesus.
So we have
That's
ideas
just a
like
fact.
blasphemy.
No, it is
an ugly
apostasy.
It is basic liberal
Well, let me
principle
unpack
of
it.
tolerance.
Let me unpack
but
it.
not for
No,
intolerance.
of course not. But the picture you're painting is to some extent true, but is hugely incomplete. It is certainly true that plenty of fanatics and jihadis are Muslim, but the people who are standing up to them, Malala, incredible Muhammad Ali Dadak in Iran, in prison for 9 years for speaking up for Christians. A friend that I had in Pakistan who was shot this year, Rashid Rahman, for defending people accused of apostasy.
Nick,
Or how about the northern?
And props to that guy for actually distinguishing the different groups that we were talking about earlier. Because no, not all of these groups are the same, but you have to be able to distinguish the difference.
Right.
Like, yes, there are good people out there, just like there's bad people out there, and we have to be able to point and say these ones are good and these ones are bad.
But Ben Affleck has an agenda.
Yeah, and Jacob, we don't see this in the media. We don't see this like point of view going on. We just see like these three people talking. We don't see like your way of like actually explaining it. Like, you know, like, the way you explained it was very good, but we don't see that.
It's the way all three of us have explained this, or all four of us, or however many people have been jumping in.
With your clip,
explaining this with. I mean, I'm not explaining this any better than you guys have. Muddrabbit was able to talk about different races when it was different groups when it was talking about the Sunnis, and he just brought up the Muhans, or what were they called? The Muhans.
Yeah, but very true. Yeah, very true. But this whole clip there was no other people like talking about it like you or anybody else.
That's designed that way. They don't want us to think. They don't want us to know the difference. Ben Affleck is a paid shill. It's his agenda that this news does not get out to the general public, especially on a show like Bill Maher.
Yeah,
because they're all liberals in the audience.
This is the biggest point, because like me, you, Jacob, me, Jacob, Muddrabbit, we're not far right people. We're not MAGA. We're not all these other things.
We're realists.
But he got elected because of this bullshit.
Yes.
Where like the media just puts this shit out there, where they just tell us the stupid shit, and then we're supposed to believe this shit.
Imagine, you said you were born in the 80s, right?
I was born in 1981.
See, imagine going through another 20 years of that before from Kennedy. I've been screaming about, people like me have been screaming about this shit since the 60s, and nobody's listened. We feel so vindicated at this point. So vindicated, because now we're finally seeing something getting done about it. And the frustrating part, the frustrating part is trying to explain it to people from our vantage point, because we've seen it coming.
Yes.
Eventually it had to happen, and we understand how it's happening, regardless of what the public thinks. We understand how it's happening.
Is it still worth the same if it's explained to people when everybody surrounding it's already dead? Like when they tell us about what's going on with MLK and what surrounded his death, or what happened with Kennedy surrounding his death, does it matter?
And
when
John
all these people are
Lennon.
dead?
I mean, these are all people that were telling truths, and these are things that the powers that be did not want us to know.
Because I think
it could have came from either side. It could have came from either side, right?
What?
I think it's still the same thing that we're seeing with UFOs in Senate hearings and shit like that. It's like we're hearing about stuff that happened in the 1920s and the 1930s.
Distractions.
Like, also distractions, but it's such a minute thing that they're putting in front of you that a lot of people have confirmed a long time ago, and they're just trying to get the main group of people to say, hey, look over here. Yeah,
they're trying to get us to focus back on the minutia instead of looking at the truth.
Yeah. Very true.
Good. Good hearing from both of you.
A billion people
Love it.
who aren't fanatical, who don't punch women, who just want to go to the store.
Wait a second.
Sandwiches,
Wait a second.
25 times a day.
I hate Ben Affleck.
You're saying all Muslims
Okay,
wait a second.
wait.
Stereotyping.
Not
Wait,
saying all
wait a
Muslims.
second. And you painting a whole group religion with that.
No. Let's get down to who has the right answer here. A billion people, you say. All these billion people don't hold any of these. Don't hold these pernicious beliefs.
No,
I would.
Well, they don't.
That's just not true, Ben. That's just not
Ben,
true.
Can I just express how I think it breaks down? in terms of
The
beliefs?
idea.
What are you haven't even defined.
You're trying to say that these few people. That's all the problem is. These few bad apples. The idea that someone should be killed if they leave the
That's
Islamic.
horrible. That should.
Wait.
That is
Wait. You're
center of
saying
the
that the
fairway.
idea that someone should be killed if they leave the Islamic religion is just a few bad apples?
The people who would actually believe and enact that you murder somebody if they leave Islam is not the majority of Muslims at all.
Okay,
Is it?
Let me.
He's about to break down the full numbers right now, just to show Ben that it's
Good.
not a few bad apples that actually, he's got a Venn diagram that actually overshadows what communities fall into what categories.
Yeah.
Let me
Remember when
break
your
this down for
mother
you.
got
We
upset
have-
with me?
Whose
Jacob?
mother? My mother?
Your mom got upset with me because I
About
wouldn't
what?
defend the Palestinians.
Jeez, how could you defend the Palestinians?
When was this? When was this?
I was trying to explain to you what they're like, and she was telling you to get rid of me, to kick me off on the other side.
This wasn't my mom.
It was your
There might have
mom.
been.
What
there might
year?
have been somebody named. Was it somebody named Denise?
No, it wasn't in the chat. She was
What
talking
year?
to you on the phone.
What year?
Oh no! This was a different conversation. Yeah.
Yeah.
No. This was He was talking. She was talking about me to get rid of something else on the phone. It was a different.
What year?
No, it was about a year ago. Not even.
It was
Only
It
that.
was a different guest that was on
this
at
time
the
I
same
thought
time.
I thought I was pissing her off.
Oh no, not at all. She thinks you're like one of the only sane people I talk to. no, she
I love
doesn't
your
have
mom.
an
I
issue
think
with you.
she's cool.
Yeah, no. The only issue I have with my mom is I think she's an always Trumper. I think she doesn't think Trump can do any wrong, but no, I don't think she thinks. If anything, when it comes to Palestine, she thinks we should have nothing to do with Israel or Palestine, and we
Exactly.
should stay the fuck out of it.
That's
And
not
we should
our
worry
battle.
about and if anything, she thinks we should worry about what's going on in the U.S. She is very America first
Good.
because
Well-
Trump told her to be.
Oh no, Jacob. I think you have a good opinion about it. Actually, I might be a little biased because I was around at September 11th, and I remember when it happened. Like the Palestinians were celebrating, the little kids were celebrating in the streets with September 11th with
The dancing
jumping
Israelis.
around and jumping
Well, we
around
can't- We can't
Loving it.
generalize.
The Palestinians were not celebrating. It was the Jews that were
It was
celebrating.
the
in
dancing
America.
Israelis.
No, the Jews were not
So-
celebrating it.
So
Sweetheart, we got an
How
article.
who said
Oh, yeah.
that?
It was.
So
It
the
didn't say
Israel-
Jews. I said dancing Israelis.
No, you
Israel-
didn't say that. Somebody
Israel
else said
was-
that.
No. Solo said Jews, but yeah, he's right. Israel was celebrating it. There was a lot of people that were celebrating it. I was old enough. I was in middle school, and I actually rolled.
I didn't
down
see Jews
the,
dancing during September 11th. I didn't. I was around. I was.
I saw So
I was
so
like
you guys
19
are-
or 20 or something, and I didn't see no Jews celebrating that.
Well, I
I
think
was
you
on
guys
my
are.
way
I
to
saw
work.
I saw Gazans, I saw Palestinians jumping around, throwing sweets in the air, saying yes. 3,000 Americans died. I love it,
That too.
and I will never forget that.
I never
So,
saw that.
so regardless,
I will never forget that.
though, regardless,
Yep, there was a lot of people.
It did
celebrating
happen.
it.
Yeah,
regardless,
I
though,
don't
of
remember.
the
I don't
people-
remember any Jewish people celebrating that. No, but
Regardless, though.
but I do remember because I worked for a pizza place, and it was a Lebanon pizza place, and then it was 2 years later, during September 11th, they said 20 Jews disappeared during September 11th. when it happened. So it was them that actually did it. That is what I heard from like people from Lebanon.
Scottie, do you know who I hold more responsible for September 11th than any other country?
George Bush.
The United States.
Yes.
The United States is
We
more
let it
responsible.
happen.
It
couldn't happen if we didn't
Pearl
know it.
Harbor. This is Pearl Harbor 2.0, and if we didn't absolutely fund it, like I don't understand how it would have happened.
Right. And then we
There's
threw
no
the
way.
Saudi
There's no
family
way.
out right
Even
away.
if the Palestinians had involvement, even if the Israelis had involvement, it was all because of the bullshit that we did.
Okay.
After the new stuff that I've seen, we knew where Osama bin Laden was the whole time. This was just a war for bullshit. We were running around pretending that he was somewhere else just so we could go and look for oil in the Middle East. It was all a crack of shit.
All right.
It didn't matter who did it.
You want another one? A bombshell?
Oh no! I can give you the. I can give you that. I can give you that. That we were stupid for not like doing this and that.
I think we funded the whole thing. I think if you look into it, so if you like, I can give you a couple baselines. Let's go. We can go Rumsfeld.
We, the taxpayers, funded ISIS.
Rumsfeld, the day before 9/11, what happened at the Pentagon? Does anybody know?
Yeah, I remember. You want me to say it?
Rumsfeld came out basically and said that we lost all of this money. Muddrabbit, do you know the amount?
I forget the amount, but it was some obscene amount. And gold.
Yeah, it was like billions. It was billions
and there was
trillions.
gold under there.
And they just lost all this amount. They had no record of it.
Yeah, all the gold in the vault just magically disappeared.
And then the next day, a plane slides with no fucking wreckage right into the accounting building. So, and then we're gonna go the specific spot in the Pentagon that was covering the accounting part. It wasn't even the whole Pentagon.
It was the accounting department and Rumsfeld's office.
And then we go to the insurance claims on
Larry
the
Silverstein.
Twin Towers.
Yeah.
They not only did they pull an insurance claim, but he tried to pull a double insurance claim on each building because he tried to claim that each one was a separate terrorist attack.
Yeah, he got it too.
If we go to how the buildings broke down and how Building 7 burnt down and all of this other stuff, none of this is screaming, oh, this was the Palestinians or the Israelis or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's screaming,
Building 7 didn't burn, it fell.
It's screaming, this is an inside fucking job.
Yeah, it is.
There is no way that another country did this without us seeing anything about it.
Very true.
That's exactly, you're right, JP. CIA history are tax dollars funding fucking over citizens.
Hi, JP. I can't see the chat. I turned the computer off so I could turn the lights off. But yeah, Building 7 didn't go down in a fire that was demolished because Silverstein, he's on record calling for it to be pulled.
Can you see the new feature, Muddrabbit? If you go full screen now on StreamYard, you can see the chat. I can now pull the chat up on the screen. It's in the bottom right.
I can see it over on when we do the Monday nights at Props.
Yeah, I just started doing it. I'm like, oh, this is cool. That's why I was actually testing this out today. But yeah, let me do a little more of this clip and let Sam Harris break down the regions.
It's as you say, we have 1.5, 1.6 billion Muslims. Now,
second biggest religion in the world, a quarter.
Well, Ben, let me unpack this. Let me unpack this for you.
Please do.
We have just imagine some concentric circles here. You have at the center, you have jihadists. These are people who wake up in the morning wanting to kill apostates, wanting to die trying. They believe in paradise. They believe in martyrdom. Outside of them, we have Islamists. These are people who are just as convinced of martyrdom and paradise and wanting to foist their religion on the rest of humanity, but they want to work within the system. They're not going to blow themselves up on a bus. They want to change governments. They want to use democracy against itself. Those two circles arguably are 20% of the Muslim world. Okay, this is not the fringe of the fringe.
That research on?
A bunch of poll results that we can talk about. So to give you one point of contact,
he is right about that.
78% of British Muslims think that the Danish cartoonist should have been prosecuted. 78%. So I'm being conservative when I roll this back to 20%.
Danish cartoonist several years later with that terrorist attack. that they
Oh,
did
there's
in
so
like
many.
France.
There's so many crazy things once you start getting into drawing cartoons of Muhammad.
Yeah, but like but that terrorist attack that they did in France several years later, right? When they killed everybody involved with the magazine,
Well, don't go
We
so
know what-
far. Salman Rushdie wrote a book called Satanic Verses. That
Yeah, and then
they put
several
the
years
death on
ago
his
they
head
almost
for his
killed
life.
him. They almost killed Salman
Yeah.
Rushdie several years later, like
Yes.
30 years later. They almost killed him.
Yep.
So the best,
Jesus.
the best one today, and if you haven't seen this, by all means, go look it up. And this is why I still follow him to this day. Is Steven Crowder?
I love him.
He dressed up like Bob Ross and got sued by
I've
the
seen that. I've seen that.
Bob Ross Foundation. And what he did is he painted Muhammad in period blood because at the time leftists
so
were
bad.
painting murals in period blood. And that was
good
his
for
way
him.
of
Oh.
he painted Muhammad's face in period blood.
Good for him.
And then he also
Guys,
did
I've got to
No, he's
sign
still
off.
alive. So if he's still alive, good for him.
Well,
I mean,
thank
but
you.
it
Thank you,
is
Muddrabbit.
what
I
it is.
appreciate
I'm
it.
going to say good night, everybody. I've got to get up with the chickens.
It was good
Much
seeing
love,
you.
everybody. Good seeing you
Good,
always, Jacob.
good talking to you, Muddrabbit.
You too. Good night.
Love you.
But yeah, he also did one